Yo, guys, what's going on? This is your girl, Mad Skills. Welcome to another episode of the Spark Something Podcast. And in today's wait a minute. Hold on. Let me backtrack real quick. That's the least I can do. I know I've been MIA, but for good reason. I got you. Trust me. I try not to steer you guys wrong. But the last time you guys heard from me, I actually put out a question. I was doing this poll about how do you practice self-love? And I got some feedback from quite a few of my friends and some family members that I sent this out to. I appreciate y'all for keeping a buck with me and always supporting me. But I had to go on my own self-love journey. At the time, I had just really gotten back into contact with someone that reminded me of my childhood, somebody in my life that felt like home. And it took me for a roller coaster ride. It was a beautiful experience. It still is. I thank God for bringing her back into my life and allowing me to feel a sense of safety and not a sense of worry at all. So I do thank you so much for my fam, Kayla. Thank you for everything that you've done just in the past year or two, to just be a part of my life and a part of my story, even then till now. But I'm not gonna lie, I experienced a lot of different things in this process. So when I wrote when I sent out this question about how do you practice self-love, like I said, I was really confused, really confused about how I even practice self-love. And I got some people's responses on them not knowing how to practice self-love either. So it sent me on my own journey. And I remember having a conversation with Kayla, and she was like, that's why you're asking this question, because you're struggling with how to practice it yourself. And I never really thought about it until she said it. But saying that, actually making that statement opened up the door to me going on my own journey. And in me going on my own journey, it took me a while to even come back. And I'm still on this journey, but I've learned some things in the process that I want to just share, because I don't know if anybody went on their own journey of self-love, but not even to front. Having the entire world shut down really brought a lot of things to the surface for me. I actually spoke about it in the last episode that I put out, entitled All My Big-Hearted People in the Back. And then even on my 2020 was trash episode, you can go and check those out as well. I spoke a little bit about all of the things that I tried to suppress coming up to the surface. So I didn't know how much this was going to affect me. I knew what the beginning stages were, and those 2 episodes actually were the beginning stages of things coming to the surface. It got dark, legit. After that, it got really, really dark, man. And I didn't know how to get out of it. I didn't know what to do. I was going through the motions and going through the process, and I knew God was going to fix it, and he did. He definitely fixed it. But there were some things that I also had to walk through first. Growing up in church, we have this thing to where we just believe God is going to take care of everything. We don't have to do anything. I'm here to just be transparent and keep it a buck with you. Faith without works is dead. We can have as much faith as we want, but if we don't do any work at all, we can't expect for anything to get done. I mean, we can sit here and say, I have faith, but faith is also an action. Faith is also you getting out and actually believing that this is going to come to pass. Faith is also you preparing for what's to come. It's not just sitting around saying that I have this thing, it's mine, and not acting on this thing. So I realized that faith was also an action word, and I realized that I had to get work. I had to get to work on the things that I wanted to see actually happen and transpire in my life. And I realized that life wasn't just happening to me, that it was happening for me, that I wasn't just out here just allowing life to pass me by, but I had the opportunity to actually live the life that I was in, and have a full life and a prosperous life. So I'm walking some things out, and to be honest, it's an interesting process because it's not like during this process of really putting feet to the gravel and really working out my faith and walking out my faith that I can talk to too many people. Like my process is my process, your process is your process. God has a path for each and every one of us, and the path that he has for us may have some similarities to someone else's path, but it's not theirs. I don't care if you're a twin. Your path is still different from your twin. You still have your own path. You got to walk this thing out. But my path in learning to actually work out my faith and walk out my faith, life got interesting. Life got real interesting because I was going through some things that I didn't grow up learning in church. I was going through some things and having to work out some things that, I had to be like, all right, God, they didn't teach me this in Sunday school. Like, what am I supposed to do? And I went through this weird transition of not even wanting to go to church. And I went through this transition of not even wanting to use my gifts and just trying to figure out life on my own, because it got to the point to where I was going through a process in my life, and I'm realizing that people are only gravitating to me because of my anointing or because of my gift or because of what I can do for them. And it got to the point where I was like, you know what? I'm exhausted. And I'm exhausted with people. I'm exhausted with people just trying to use me and abuse the things that God has given me. And I'm exhausted with myself and not knowing how to actually say no. Like, I grew up trying to please people for all of my life, man. All of my life, trying to get people to understand and trying to show people I love them and jumping through hoops and going around in circles, just trying to get people to see me. And I realized that I didn't have to do that anymore. And not having to do that, you better believe that I lost a few people. Not a few, I lost a lot of people. But going through my own, how do I practice self-love? Going through my own self-love journey, I actually was okay. Like, I was okay. If the people that I have in my life now, one thing that I will genuinely say, and I mean this from the bottom of my heart because I understand that I'm not for everybody. And that means that, everybody may not stay for as long as I want them to, or people may leave on their own and not say anything. And I honestly just have to be okay with these people growing and going. It's cool though if I don't get the kudos. I'm fine. I'm straight. But I had to be okay with where God was taking me. I had to be okay with going on my self-love journey and realizing that this journey can get lonely. And I didn't always like being alone. I didn't always like being alone with my own thoughts and my own feelings and my own emotion, because growing up, I was always taught that I should do this, or I was always told that, oh, you're good at this, you should do that because, you look great, and you should do that because you do this very well, and not really understanding that these are gifts. These aren't who I am. Like, my gifts are something that I do. They're not who I am. I'm about to say who I are. What? My gifts are things that I do. They're not who I am. They do represent a part of me, but they don't represent all of me. And I'm realizing that I had people around me that gravitated to me because they saw this version of me. Now, I had to understand that God gave me what I asked for. I asked for discernment to understand who was for me and who wasn't. And I always tell anybody, that's what I was about to say. I always am transparent, and I tell people, I'm here as long as God allows me to be. I'm here in your life as long as God allows me to be. Now, if God says it's over and you hear it on your side, cool. I'm not the type of person that I am now. I'm not who I was before. I'm not trying to do cartwheels and flips and all the rest of this other stuff to prove to people that I care about them, that I love them, that I want them to be a part of my life. Listen, you were somebody before you met me. I was somebody before I met you, but I had to go on my own journey to figure out who I actually am, and to realize that the people that are in my life, they have their own lives to live. They have their own purpose to live out. I may just be a puzzle piece in their story. They may just be a puzzle piece in my story. It might just be for a season. It may just be for a reason. I might just have to experience a little bit of life with them. They may have to experience a little bit of life with me. Everybody's not meant to be in our lives forever. Nothing is forever in this life. Things will come and go, and we just have to be comfortable with letting things do what they're supposed to do. Be active, actively coming and going. Money will come and go. People will come and go. Jobs will come and go. Things will come and go. All of these tangible things will come and go. They're meant for you to experience them, enjoy them, learn from them, grow from them, and move forward. Move forward. If I was the same person that I was when I was a child that I am now, oh my God, I wouldn't even want to be around me. God began to actually show me, because I asked him to show me, and he began to actually allow people in my life to be 100 with me and tell me things that hurt, tell me things that bother me, expose things to me that I didn't always like. And I'm not gonna front with you, it wasn't the easiest pill to swallow. It wasn't the easiest thing to actually say, all right, cool. Nah, I wasn't cool. I wasn't all right. I was mad. I would be pissed. But this is what I asked for. This is what I asked for. This was the journey that I asked God for. And this journey has been taking me through and helping me to grow for the last few years, man. For the last few years of my life, I'm at peace. Like I'm content with growth right now. I'm content with maturing right now. I understand that change is gonna come. It's inevitable. It's something that I can't just say, okay, I want this to last and I want this to be my forever. It's not going to work like that. Life is all about maturing and changing and growing. Like, change is going to happen. No matter what you're going to change. The way you look at things are going to change. Even if you get you a little boo thing, they're going to change. You're going to change. You may like them for a season. In the next season, you may hate their guts. But life is still happening. Y'all may still be together. Maybe not. It is what it is. Listen, I just got married. I've been married now. I got married in February on the 26th. We are in the month of May. So I'll be married now this month for 3 months. Yeah, for 3 months. I had to do the math, carry the one. There's no one. I ain't been married that long. But for 3 months, I have been married in the month of May. So I used to think like, yo, we've been together for a minute. What's gonna be the difference between you being my boyfriend, my boo, and you being my husband? What's gonna be the difference? And I'm not gonna front with you guys. There is a big difference. For all of my long-term relationship people, things don't change that much, but when it does change, you will know the difference. You will know the difference. There's a sense of accountability that comes over that relationship. You will know the difference. My thing now, because I'm going through my own process, I prayed and I asked, before I became a wife, I said, God, you know what? And I know this podcast is probably like everywhere. Y'all are probably like, what is going on? I'm just giving you a view. I'm giving you a audio into the way my mind has been working, into the way God has been transforming and transitioning me since the last time you guys have heard from me. There's a lot of things that have changed, not a whole lot, but I'm somebody's wife now. It's crazy. I'm not somebody's mom. I do have a new godson, but I am somebody's whole wife now. It's crazy. Me. And I say it like that. I'll talk to y'all about it in the next episode, but I'll get into a little bit of detail about it in this episode here. But before I became Anthony's wife, that's my husband, before I became a wife, I prayed and I asked God, I said, God, I want to be a whole individual before I become somebody's wife. And I said, I don't want the things that I've experienced in my past to hinder me from actually being the wife that you have literally called me to be, from being the partner that you've called me to be, from being the person that you've called me to be, from being the speaker, wherever you're sending me, in this earth. I don't want the things that I've experienced in my past to be what hinders me from stepping into, because the things that I've experienced in my past, not thinking that I was good enough, not thinking that I was enough in general, has hindered me from actually creating episodes to put out. I have so many episodes, y'all, that I have not released that probably won't see the light of day because I was in the seasons where I felt like that's not good enough because I'm not good enough. And it was tough. It was really, really tough to, it was really, really tough for me to actually go through that process, but I felt like I wasn't enough, and me feeling like I wasn't enough actually made me want to retreat. It made me want to not actually step into what God was calling me to do. And I had this small voice that would tell me things like that. And then I had another voice, and this is just how my mind works. Call me whatever you want. I really don't care. But I had this small voice that made me feel like, yo, you're not enough. You can't do this, because I never really had a whole lot of people speak into the person that I was, speak into the little girl in me. When I was a child, I never had people really speak life into me. I had more so people speak life into the gifts that I had. And those gifts are what actually allowed me to run away from the things that I really experienced as a child. So people would, put fire in the flame. Not put fire, but put wood in the flame of my gifts more so than they would actually put wood and words of encouragement into the young lady that I was, into the child that I was, into the woman that I was becoming, because people couldn't see. They couldn't see who I was and who God was calling me to be. Some people did, and I thank God for the people that are in my life that actually saw me for who I was and that loved me unconditionally and that appreciated me as a person and understood that I was growing and going through a lot of different things, and they got me. You feel me? They got me. They understood. They were there. I respected. I was so appreciative of it, and I'm appreciative of them, and I'm thankful for the ones that are still rocking with me to this day. To this day, like legit. But the person that I was versus the gifts that I had, I used my gifts a lot to escape. I used them a lot to find a sense of freedom and happiness. I used them as an scapegoat. And this was before, even after I got saved, even after I became a Christian, I used my gifts as an escape. And a lot of people, I know, hopefully nobody stones me for this. And even if you do, it is what it is. I'm speaking my truth. This is, my podcast. Whatever that's said that you might not like, I'm always willing to have a conversation with anyone. But if it's negativity and, however your feelings or emotions are, then you can just turn it off. It's cool though. If I don't get no kudos, it's fine. But I use my gifts a lot as an escape. Especially when I was younger. I needed to get away. I needed to go to just find somewhere to breathe and to get out of my own head and my own space. And I knew what I was good at. Because people would tell me this is what I was good at. And I got kudos for that. So because the things that I got kudos for, those are the things that I did, because those are the things that allowed people to come into my life and to actually show me some type of attention or appreciation in a way. And this honestly is a whole nother podcast episode. Like, I'll probably go into detail more in another episode about this. But my gifts are what I use to find some type of freedom, to be able to escape. And it wasn't the healthiest thing to do, but at the time, I needed some sense of you're enough. And I didn't have that. So when I went on my journey to self-love, my first thought was, I don't know how to love myself, because I don't think I'm worth loving, because I don't think I'm enough. And that was a harsh reality. This is actually the first time I'm saying this. And for anybody that is listening to this, I'm pouring out my soul because I feel as though it may help someone else, and it may actually bring some clarity and actually be like, oh man, a light bulb, So yeah, I didn't feel like I was enough. So I didn't, and nobody poured into that, and I couldn't really explain it as a child. But now that I'm older and going on my own journey, I realized that I'm enough. Not just enough. I serve a God that's more than enough. And because He's enough, so am I. So am I. There's a song by Elevation Worship, by Elevation and Maverick City. It's called Jireh. And it says, Jireh, you are enough, and I will be content in every circumstance. Jireh, you are enough. My favorite part of the song is, if He dresses the lilies with beauty and splendor, how much more will He clothe you? If He watches over every sparrow, how much more will He love you? And I thought about that, and I listened to that song, and I played that over and over and over until it resonated with me, and it allowed me to understand that I'm enough. Like, I'm enough. I can be mad, I can feel some type of way about the people that were raising me, or the people that were older than me that didn't speak life into me. I can be upset, I can feel some type of way, but I can also understand that God literally gave me the words to sing. He literally gave me the thoughts to think, to say, you know what, I created you. I used to have moments and days where I didn't want to get up. Like, I hoped I didn't wake up. because I didn't have a purpose on why I was even living. I didn't have a purpose on why I was even here. And nobody knew that I struggled with that thing. Nobody understood that I struggled with not even wanting to be here. I was hoping that God would just say, all right, it's your time. I had thoughts of suicide growing up. Like I wanted to go. I didn't always have I didn't have the capacity to be able to do it myself though. I was scared. And that's not funny. I'm sorry. I apologize for laughing, but this is my truth. So I would sometimes pray and say, God, like, please just get rid of me. Because I didn't see the value in me. And it literally all started when it literally, like the journey of me starting to see the value in me. That's what I mean by it. The journey of me starting to see my own value started when everything closed down during COVID. Everything came up to the surface. Like all of the stuff that I was suppressing came up to the surface. I went through the darkest season of my life and I started a podcast. And it was hard because it's called the SparkSomethingPodcast. And I'm sitting here trying to encourage people to live out their truth. And I'm trying to encourage people to live out the life that God is calling them to be. And I am exhausted from putting on a show. I'm exhausted from putting on a facade. I'm exhausted from only showing my highlight reel of the things that I could do. And I'm sitting here confused at why people are gravitating to me, because all I'm showing them is, hey, I can do this. Hey, look, I can do that too. Because I'm afraid to actually go on the journey to figure out what makes me me. I'm afraid to go on the journey to figure out my truth, to figure out my understanding, to actually go through my own process. I'm afraid to go on that journey. But now, I'm a completely different person. And it's not just a journey that I went on. It's a journey that I have to wake up and continue to go on every single day. It feels weird to try to go backwards. It really does. Like I don't live in that space anymore of not knowing. Like now I know. There's things that I didn't know before because I didn't go on my journey, but since I've gone on the journey of self-love, of self-care, of saying no, since I've gone on a journey of spending time by myself, being with my own thoughts, being in my own space, understanding that I need to go to God when I don't feel like going sometimes. When I don't feel like going, I still need to go. Not sometimes, all the time. Going to God when I get to, some of those moments that are dark. Like I still have my moments, but I don't have as many of them as I used to. Like before, it was like 8 out of 10. Now, it's like at a 3. But they're not back to back to back. They're spaced out now. And what I do is, or what I've done on this journey of when I do have my moments, those are the moments to where I get very quiet. And what I used to be afraid of was being by myself. I get somewhere by myself and I pray. And I used to pray that God would take these things away. That's what I used to do. I used to pray that he would take these things away. But now what I do, or what I have done, is, God, I've been going through these emotions and these feelings for so long? Where are they coming from? Why are they here? What is it that I'm doing? What have I been looking at, listening to? Where am I? Am I not where I'm supposed to be? Am I elevating to a new level? Are you taking me somewhere? In the journey that you're taking me on, are you preparing me for what's to come? Yo, guys, I know it's not normally how I would end the episode, but I just felt like there should be a part two. Part two, I'll go more into detail and we'll pretty much pick up where we left off. So with that being said, thank you guys so much for all the love, all the support, all the likes, comments, shares. Thank you guys for going on this journey with me. This has been your girl, Mad Skills. This has been another episode of the Spark Something Podcast. And I hope this sparks something in your life. And I'm out. Peace, baby. Next week, whole new vibe. Let's go.